Hey guys, Redwood Bullion back here with you. I just wanted to make a Sunday video. Just wanted to give a little update for all you guys that are new to stacking or people that are old to stacking. You're seeing the prices continually seem to drop and drop, and I don't want that to dissuade new stackers to getting involved in precious metals. When you really start to get into it, you really start to look, like things just don't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense that the price is down so much. Currently, as of the time of this recording right now, we got gold is at 1644.40, down 1.6%. Platinum's at 854, down 5.11%. Silver's trading at 1883, down 0.79%. And the gold to silver ratio is 87.352. I mean, it just seems like they continually go down and down, but then when you start looking at the news and you start looking at the data and start seeing what's happening, Switzerland imported 5.7 tons worth $324 million in August. The Swiss customs specified it came from Britain and did not violate sanctions, obviously because it's coming from Russia. But in June and July, the Swiss imported only 284 kilos and 261 kilos, respectively. May imports were 3 tons. China in July significantly increased its gold production from Russia, or gold purchases from Russia, despite sanctions, and imported 108.8 million in Russian gold, 750% increase from previous month of 12.7 million. So it starts to wonder, like, if it's the prices are going down so bad, why is everybody big money? And I'm not talking about guys like me and, just everyday stackers, like big money and countries are just draining all this metal from everywhere. Silver, 140 tons has come off of the COMEX, just massive drawdowns. There's 1,500% open interest more than what is in the register category. It's just just doesn't make any sense. When prices are going down, people are jumping out thinking, oh, it's not a good time to get in. Me personally, and looking at all the data and watching the news and checking it out every day and just seeing how the markets are responding, to me it just looks like a setup for a big giant explosion in one way or the other. We've all heard the rumors of a one world currency, a central bank, and a digital currency, and this and that, and who knows with all that? Who knows which is right, which is wrong? But it seems that something like that could be possible, and especially with the talks of the Moscow exchange and all that, like pulling all the physical money, the physical metals that are the money that are supposed to back the currencies of all these countries is being taken away. The amount of this, you're talking 284 kilos in 1 month, and then the next month you go up, we're 3 tons in 1 month. It just doesn't make any sense. And a 750% increase for buying this, and they're not buying it to sell it, they're buying it to hold on to it. And you look at a lot of these countries, they're ones that are getting into the BRICS system and wanting to create a new metal exchange because they know that the LBMA is just kind of a scam, or it's heavily manipulated, for lack of a better word. 41% of the kilo bars of gold were taken off the COMEX. It's 170 million ounces. Like that's a lot. For a very short amount of time, you'd think those would be year-long numbers instead of week-long or even month-long. But that's a day. That's a 1 day number. Like, so where's the other 59%? Like, it's got to be in other countries, or then you start getting into the paper trading and you start to see where the manipulation is, that it's being traded hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times of what is actually available, what is above ground. Like I said, silver has got 1,500% more open interests on the paper side than what is in the register category. Like, that's just that just screams manipulation to me. It's the lowest amount of silver in the LBMA since they started recording it. You know, it's a lot of metals and a lot of money, because metals are money. You know, this is money. It has been for centuries, decades, millennia. Like, it's always been around. And I mean, especially with silver. I mean, I know you guys are hearing a lot about silver lately. And I do think that it's going to be, you know, it stopped trading with the base metals. It was there trading with copper and aluminum and nickel there for a while. And it's finally kind of back into moving where gold does when it goes up and down and that type of stuff. But I mean, looking back at when the nickel market failed and the trade was invalidated, I mean, if something like that were to happen, you know, you got the Moscow exchange to fight the suppression of the price while importing tons and tons of gold, you know, using the price to misdirect and why they are going long when the prices are falling. You know, it keeps normal people out of the market or from buying even just small amounts, even a 1 ounce, a 10 ounce, a couple 100 ounces. You multiply that by a couple thousand people, just a little bit of news like that where it's going down 1 or 2% in a day or 5% in a week, that could keep a lot of people from investing in it, especially knowing that it probably is a long-term investment versus a quick flip, like a month-on-month return on something. But it's just, there's something's going on. It's just not right. You know, watching Andy Schectman interviews and the Morgan report and all that, it just doesn't make any sense. They're just absolutely being drained. And if you look at the countries that are importing the majority of this gold, massive amounts of actual real wealth, like real physical assets, it's the East, it's not the West. And I could see that the Moscow exchange opening up, if that were to happen, I mean, what's going to happen here? The price is going to have to reset. There's no way you can say it's worth one thing over there and less over here. And I mean, they don't probably have as much manipulation in the paper market as we do here. But I think a lot of the problem coming up is that so much is being drained, and then you add in with just the normal economy woes that are going on, the price of fuel being so expensive, the price of metals being so low. A lot of these mines that aren't the biggest producers or the most profitable ones, they're going to shut them down until the prices go back up. So that's even more silver that would be above ground that is now not. It won't be. So you might have a 6-month or an 18-month or a 3-year lag before some of these smaller mines get back online when prices are down and it's actually economical to pull it out of the ground. I mean, especially with the other base metals being down so much and silver being a byproduct of mostly mining for other base metals, it's a recipe for a very, very limited supply. And it has been very noticeable that ever since the Queen died, just something small like that has changed a lot. Like, all of the maples are very hard to get now, or the premium went way up, which of course, because that'll be the end of them. But that also transitioned into just other ones, and whether it's trying to just take advantage because the premiums are higher on one certain coin and you figure, why not, I can try on another one. But something just doesn't work. It's not right. I mean, even with just like the Eagles, the premium on these Eagles and the amount of minting that they're doing now, and even when they're saying that they're ramping up or increasing their production, but you can look at the year-on-year mintages and it's nothing but slowly going down, minus like a 2 or 3 year period there in the beginning of COVID when it was really starting to ramp up and it was staying around the 25 to 30 million minted. We're getting down into 8 million minted, whatever. I think the last one I saw was that they're kind of capping it around 850,000 per mint. They just don't have the silver, and with the laws in place that they have to pay spot price only, it gives them very, very little wiggle room. You know, when a company like, well, NTR obviously is out of business, but, you know, say Sunshine Mint, who makes their planchettes, like if they can sell, you know, they can sell this blank planchette for $20, $22 to somebody else, why would they sell it to somebody else for 1883 as it is today or whatever? So it's not looking good, and that's why the premiums on these are going up. But the premiums on everything are going up, and it's just getting harder and harder to find. And everything, it seems like more and more places that you look at and normally are always in stock, you know, or out of stock, or notify me in stock, or limited, very, very small amounts. And I think it's definitely setting up for a bull run here. At some point it's got to break. I mean, you got all these managed money and commercial banks going long and short. At some point that's going to have to break, and when that does, I think it's just going to go absolutely insane with the silver. At least I think gold will too. I just don't think it will, dollar for dollar matching, I don't think it will go up as much percentage wise as silver would. I mean, you think of silver at 1883 today, if it went up and touched $30, you know, you'd have almost a 50% increase. Well, I don't think gold's going to do that anytime soon, or not in the same amount of time period. You know, so yeah, looking back at some of the mintages, so in 2021, 2021 they did 27 million, 2020 they did 30 million, 2019 was 14, year before 15, year before 18, and then in 2006 and back they stayed in their 37 million, 47 million, 44 million ish range pretty much consistently, all the way going, I mean, all the way back till, you know, early 2000s. Even in the beginning of the mint, just, you know, like doing in 86, only doing 5 million, little under 5.5 million coins. I mean, the next year they more than doubled that, but then even the year after that they only did 5 million, and then 5 million the year in 1990, 7 in 91, and then 5.5 again in 92. So there's definitely something going on with the silver, whether it's being drained out just because the stocks market's going down and everything's losing value and people are just trying to protect their wealth, or is there going to be a monetary reset, you know, with a global currency or a central bank and a digital currency? That could be even more heavily manipulated. Get a digital deposit into your bank account, but yet you have to spend it X amount of days, or you can only spend it on this and that. It opens the doorway to absolutely tracking every single purchase that you do, and also kind of steering you in the direction that they want you to purchase things. I mean, think if somebody had a company that was friends with somebody that could make those kinds of laws. You say, oh, give a X amount of discount to go shop at this store and do that, and it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, look back at Halliburton and stuff like that, and all the stuff that's just going on now. There's always some backroom deal going on somewhere between somebody, for good or for worse, or for bad or for worse, however you want to look at it. But, you know, and I think that people are really starting to realize that this is actually preserving your wealth. And when big money is flowing into this, and people are literally taking on, not just countries, but just, you know, the richest of the rich are taking on tons and tons and tons of gold. I mean, obviously you guys have all heard about the $50 million order, but for somebody to take something like that is already very financially well off, that's kind of alarming. Because even if it got really bad, that amount of money you could ride it out, unless you think that a money confiscation, or not a confiscation per se, but everything switching over to a digital currency is in the works or is already about to be launched. That would be my guess. There's a reason that all this metal is being taken out and hoarded. It's the same reason that I do it, is that I think that it's a good long-term investment, and it's a good way to protect the money that I use to invest into this. I mean, a lot of this, I've never sold any of it. I've been holding on to it for years and years and years. which it's made a return somewhat. But if nothing else, I'm still going to get back the same amount that I put into it, and I'm going to beat, what are we looking at? 8.3% inflation as of now. I know it only went up an inch, but I beat that. So I'll get back the same 20 some dollars or whatever it ends up being when I sell it that I paid for this. Well, it'll be more like one of these ones, because these are older ones, and these are actually commanding higher of a price on some places. I don't know if people are paying them or not just because it's NTR, but then you got like the Britannia. These are always nice. Everybody likes these, but then just your generic, still Royal Canadian Mint, still a government mint, but yeah, it's a good place to park your money, and I think a lot of people are finally starting to realize that. And I don't know if it's the countries wanting to get as much of the pie as possible. Same with the super wealthy, which good for them. That's smart business. That's what I would do if I was in their shoes too. It's hard to digest all this information because you see everything just going down and down and down, and all you hear is just dire consequences on every front about everything. More Fed hikes, gas going up, but yet oil prices are going down, dollar strong, but yet rate hikes are going up, stock market's in the toilet, metals going down. Something's just not right. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, for the most part, you can track this data over years and years and years, and things tend to stay roughly in the same levels and trade sideways or in the same zones, and it's pretty trackable, or at least you're able to speculate to a certain degree on it. But this last 6 months, or even really this last like 2 years, it's not been like that. I mean, going back to March of when the market really, really dropped. I mean, obviously everything was way overvalued, and we're coming out of the time where everybody had free money, or not free money, but COVID money, and just sitting at home doing nothing, and everything's so overvalued. So that was bound to happen. But when that starts happening, you'd think that metals would start going up, because that's always how it's been before. I'd get up in the morning, I could look at the stock market and pretty much guess what the metal market was going to look like, and vice versa. If I wanted to know what the stocks were going to do, I look at the metals. Metals are up. Chances are a lot of the big chip stocks are down. And it's just not that way. It seems like everything's going down and down and down, but yet people are, obviously when things are cheap, it's a good buying opportunity, but it's only if you know that it's going to go back up, especially when you're buying, $50 million or whatever that order was. Obviously I'm not spending anything like that, even close to anything like that, but, you buy something in hopes that it is going to go up, or to preserve something. And to spend that kind of money on metals, it just validates for me everything that I've been doing with stacking this and saving it and holding on to it and budgeting it and expecting this day to come, and if nothing else, using it for barter or getting back my money years from now that I normally wouldn't have had the same amount of purchasing power with, because over the last, say, 10 years, the money that I bought this bar with might only be worth 75% of what I spent back then, or however the numbers work out. I haven't ran them, but that was my original allure into this. And then the more that I got into it, when you start seeing articles about them trying to cut the amount of silver that is in all these electric vehicles, and figuring out ways around it to use less, and we're going to use copper this instead of doing silver and this and that. That just tells you that there's either a very short supply, or they're going to need that supply for something else. There's so much silver that is used in so many things that just gets thrown away, and it's not economically viable right now to recover that. Obviously with gold, people are tearing apart computers and everything else and taking the pins and whatever. And I think that you're going to start seeing that with silver too, to a certain extent. Like I said, it's not really economically viable right now to try to do the recovery like they do with the gold. but it's got to happen. I mean, the amount of gold or the amount of silver that is mined and thrown away each year, never to be recovered, is just, it's a recipe for disaster, especially with all the paper trading of it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting in the days ahead and the months. You know, who knows how long this is going to take, but at some point the dam's got to break. I mean, there's just no way that this can continue on. I think more and more people are really, really starting to realize that the big money and the smart investors are flooding into metals and trying to get as much of it as they possibly can, and whether that's to preserve their wealth or they know that it's about to shoot up, one or the other. Either way, it's a win-win, I feel. So, you know, let me know what you think down below. I mean, what are you guys hearing? What are you guys reading? I mean, we all got different articles, but they all seem to be saying about the same things. You know, everything just changes just a little bit from website to website, but prices are still down, everything's still down, but demand still seems insanely high. And obviously when it's people like, you know, me, demand, when the price is down, demand's higher for me to go buy it. But when a lot of these countries are doing it and a lot of very, very wealthy people are doing it, that tells me something. You know, you want to see what's going to happen. You watch where the big money starts to flow into. It starts flowing into stocks and equities and commodities and whatever it is, and that good chance that that's going to go somewhere. But now we're seeing it go into this. We're seeing lots and lots and lots of this being drained out of the COMEX and the LBMA daily, weekly. I mean, it's just it's getting bad. It's getting, a lot is being taken out. I wouldn't, you know, I literally would not be surprised to wake up tomorrow and it, you know, the dam is broken, that it's not able to happen anymore. I mean, the fact that it's being traded 1,500 times, 1,500% over the amount of actual silver, that's just playing with fire right there. So, yeah. Well, just wanted to make a little update, make another video for a Sunday. Shoot me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a 10-ounce silver bar giveaway. So give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys' time. And let me know what you think.